What's up guys, it's Adam from Adam's Trail Notes, and today I'm going to be breaking down this workout video that I shot with my good friend Alex. He's an incredible boxer, so I'm going to play that clip for you right now.
Boxing has become a grounding point for me. It makes you give everything you've got and then a little more. It reshapes not only your body, but more importantly, your mind. You have to earn everything, day in and day out. No shortcuts, no pity parties, just the work. Raw, challenging, painful, rewarding work. It demands nothing less than your best. Inside my DNA.
Alright, I really hope you liked that one. It took a lot of time and it was really new for me, so I was learning throughout the whole process. But it was a lot of fun to make, and I'm basically going to break down my thought process through it, and then the editing and the decisions I made through that edit. So let's get into it. Alright, as Premiere Pro's opening, basically my thought process was I had seen some YouTube videos featuring like The Rock and his Under Armour workout shoots, basically just motivational workout videos, and I was getting more into videography, and I was like, this looks really cool to make, and I started coming up with ideas in my head of maybe some boxing scenes, some workout scenes with a good song in the background. And I had a friend, Alex, that is an incredible boxer. So I called him up and I was like, hey, I have an idea for this workout video. Would you be down to shoot it? And he was. So basically I explained some of the details. I sent him some of the example videos that I had an idea of what the video was going to become. And then basically just went from there. So what I first did is I made a shot list. And basically a shot list is what the title is. It's basically a list that you write down all of the different shots you want, and you can become very technical with it. Okay, so basically this is my shot list for the workout video, and I was pretty specific with what I wanted. So the first shot, it was a top-down shot of him laying in bed. There was a shot of him getting out of bed, maybe, him drinking water, him putting on his boxing wraps, him putting the gloves on, sitting on his bench or maybe a seat and punching the gloves, like some boxing movies do. Multiple shots of him hitting the bag. That was going to be the main part of the film, is just him hitting the bag in different ways. I wanted to get some sounds of him yelling as he hits the bag. I was thinking of the outro shot, especially with the song that I was going to use, of one last big hit and then him kind of walking away with the bag kind of swaying or just shaking as he walks off. Different workout shots, so maybe him doing some bicep curls, get some facial expressions of him working out, maybe just different exercises that you would normally do for not even just boxing, but just working out, just to really paint the story. And then lastly, I reminded myself of getting just some sound effects, so I didn't have to always just get them from online. So I went to his house one separate day and literally just filmed him yelling into the camera, doing a voiceover, which I'll explain shortly, and then him just punching the bag, him drinking water, just getting the sound of it, not even the video, just the sound. So I had it for some of the shots, because sound is like 70% of the whole video. It really tells a story. I mean, of course you need the actual shots and everything, but sound is an extreme component to getting the listener and the viewer really just enveloped into the story. So I needed those sounds. I had a few ideas. My thought process was it was going to kind of start out slow, maybe him in bed, lying and just thinking about boxing, and then him working out, or him going to like his garage where he has his little home gym set up, and then just punching the bag, working out, getting all of his things ready, warming up. That was basically my kind of idea of the story. He mentioned that he maybe wanted to do some beach shot scenes, which actually turned out really cool, so I'm glad he brought that idea up. So we went to the beach, and I had my drone. We got some drone shots of him just running, like a kind of like a really stereotypical Rocky shot of him running, and kind of doing some shadow boxing with it. So that was a lot of fun. I'll first break down just what the gear I used. So the gear I used was a Nikon D750, and I shot it with a 50mm lens because I knew I wanted more of a tight shot with some of the background out of focus. I didn't want it really wide. I wanted it pretty compact, and I would be kind of far from him, so I would still get about his upper half. I didn't need his whole body. I still wanted a pretty compact shot. I used the Glide Cam. I think it's called the Red King Glide Cam. I'll put that up just to make sure. It's a pretty inexpensive Glide Cam that I'm still learning to use and all the functions it has, but it worked great to get some of the steady shots where I was maybe circling him or just holding it, so I didn't have to like just camera shake and then use warp stabilizer because that takes a long time in post-processing. Okay, so basically here, as you can see, this is my kind of footage. So this is of course either the thumbnails or the final videos, but basically I make a Premiere Pro file, and that's just where Premiere Pro auto saves the video or the project I'm working on, and then we took some pictures at the beach. But besides that, I had a footage folder and an audio folder. So the footage folder I composed of two different things, of my drone shots and then my D750 shots. So D750, this was the first day I didn't even put in a folder. That was literally just him laying in bed, and he was just looking out the window and then looking back at me. I was just trying some stuff. We had a beach scene where I filmed him at the beach doing some different stuff. Some of these clips didn't even make it in. I just didn't think they were that important. And then of course I had the garage scenes. This was we filmed 2 different days. I went to his house and we filmed for like 2 or 3 hours each night, just getting these shots, so I really worked him. But yeah, he had to actually warm up and lift the weights several times over so I could get the shot and make sure everything was good. I knew the most important part, besides the lighting and everything, was making sure that he was in focus. So before every shot I would literally yell at him to just stand still so I could make sure he was in focus and not move before he started doing his thing. But it was very cool. He was also really into the video. It wasn't just like one-sided where I wanted to make the video. He was really interested in the video and what I could create, so he was very involved with it. He was like, oh, and of course he's an extremely good boxer, so he knows what kind of shots that would look better for boxing. He knows different moves you could do. He always wanted to look at the shots after. So this was different drone shots, and I'll show you all of these when we're in Premiere. And basically I just had him running most of the time, had him do some push-ups, some shadow boxing, just a lot of different stuff. With any project you're working on, the more you have the better, so you can cut down. You never want to think, oh, I wish I could have gotten that shot. So I got like every shot imaginable. And I annoyed him sometimes, literally just saying do it over and over and over just to make sure I had it. And then for audio, I had the song, which I think for next time I'd want to have the song finalized before I even start the project. I think I came up with the song like a day or two into filming, and we chose it was the Creed 2 DNA remix. I think they had it in the trailer, but it was really cool because with boxing, with the idea I had, I wanted a song that had a lot of different beats, like boom, boom, boom. I wanted it so I could match his hits with the beats, and it would make it even cooler. So these are all, I didn't care about the video at all. This was literally just him making sounds so I could put it in with the other clips. And the one important thing that I did was at the end, this was like the last day of filming, one night I thought about having a voiceover, because a lot of these workout videos, they have a voiceover, they have a motivational, voice that's kind of directing the clips and everything and making the story better. So I'll play that in Premiere, but that was basically him. I wrote this little thing about boxing and overcoming odds or something like that, and then I basically just told him to speak very slowly through it, or break up each part, so then in editing I can break up each segment that I want to and place it in, because I knew it wasn't going to be a full just like 30 seconds of him talking. It was going to be 5 seconds and then wait like 30 seconds in the video, put that other clip in. So that was basically my thoughts through this. So let's open Premiere. So this is my timeline, my pretty timeline. I like to color code things a lot so I can be very organized with everything, so most of this means something to me at least. But basically, let's just start going through the clips. So, might take a while to load for Premiere. So basically, this was the intro shot. This was just him laying in bed. And again, for this shot, I literally I don't have my actual camera, but pretend this is the camera. He was laying down the bed, and I was just like kneeling over him and just slowly panning. And I didn't have my glide cam at this point, so I had to use a warp stabilizer because it was just very shaky. But this is kind of the beginning, the 5 seconds.
Boxing has become a grounding point for me.
So basically the idea, it was just a really long shot, you could say I broke that up, of him just staring out the window and me just slowly panning over his face. That was going to be the intro shot. And I'll turn off the different audio clips so you can hear what it sounds like with just maybe the song. And it still sounds pretty good with the song, but I still think the voiceovers definitely add something to it, just because it gives him more emotion and more life, and not just him boxing. It's more of him talking through it and everything. So for me, through editing this, the hardest part was, I would say, I had this intro pretty early on. Like, this was one of my, probably the first day when I was editing this, I got this intro. But from this point, from about here, this was the hardest part, because I didn't know if I was going to do a beach scene, or I had some clips of him walking in the door through his garage and everything. I didn't know if I was going to use that. That took a while for me to figure out. But I think this is all pretty much beach scene and him just kind of relaxing. But the cool thing with the song is, I think I even highlighted it because I needed to know where these breaks were. So these dark blue parts right here, you can hear the song. It has a really fast rap part, and then like 5 times throughout the song it just dims quiet. So I knew I could use that to my advantage and just have those scenes be him resting, so him doing a really intense workout and then him resting again, and then it furthers along with him getting back up and just, you know, keep working out. That was going to be the main kind of storyline of the whole thing. So what I did was I planned all of these dark blue shots, or the resting shots of him. For this one, it was him running up to the beach and just kind of putting his hands over his head, and then he has a boxing kind of training scene, and then again I had him just put his hands over his head and just do deep breaths. And actually, this isn't even the audio of him breathing right here.
Have to earn everything, day in and day out.
This was him. I took a separate clip of him just breathing, just because I was like, I needed like a good breath sound, if that makes sense. After the beach scene, I knew from this point on it was going to be a little intro of him setting up the boxing. So I got multiple clips of him just putting his wraps on. So one angle there behind the shoulder, and then I had one of him taking his shirt off just to develop the story more, and then basically just went different angles of him working out, doing a shoulder press, doing another shoulder press from a different angle, shoulder press, and then a bicep curl, just like that, and then it moves into the boxing stage. And from here to about, I think there, is literally just all boxing. All different boxing clips. I did so many different angles of this, of him just doing random stuff. And I made sure I wanted to get a tight shot of his face, just, you know, the anger and stuff that he was expressing when he was boxing. I wanted to get that. And then it goes to him drinking water, because he's like, again, this is like the resting part of the stage. So him resting. And then I always imagined the shot I've seen in movies where they kind of get up and they punch the gloves together. And I always thought those were really cool. So what I did with this is, when he gets up right here, you can see, boom, boom. He hits it twice. And I really wanted to accentuate that sound, because, I mean, that's a very stereotypical boxing sound you hear. And you can hear it right here. So basically, I really wanted that toned up. So what you can see here is, if I scroll on, this part is when he hits, and then he hits again right here. So these two parts, I literally, let's see the audio gain on here. Yeah, I bumped it up to a 7, and I think I basically muted the parts around it. So the parts of him kind of going up, there's literally no sound, because, you know, there really isn't sound. And then I just accentuated when he pumped his fists together. And I really wanted that to make an impact, especially because the music is really loud and everything, and it's building up right here. I wanted that to be a big moment, and I think I did that twice throughout the film. Boom, boom. So I really wanted that. And then This is one of my favorite shots of the whole thing. And I wish I would have done more of this. I wanted to get more movement, kind of spastic shots, because boxing, it's a very physical moving sport. It's not always stationary. So I wanted to do some shots basically of him when he punches, I move with him. So I move with the camera, and this was also him lifting weights. I wanted to do some movement because movement creates emotion. Emotion, you know, sells the story. I only did a really fast moving shot like once or twice, and this was one of them, and I got really lucky that this worked out. But basically you can see, boom, boom, I'm just moving with him, and honestly sometimes I miss it, like because he may change tempo, so I move really quick and he's not even caught up there yet, so I could have done a better job of that. But for the most part it worked, especially because this part, it just goes boom, 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 boom. So I really, when I heard that first, I was like, it's definitely going to be just him punching the bag, boom, boom, boom. And it worked out a little bit. With this, I couldn't directly align every time that he hit the bag. It matched up most of the time, but some of the shots, you know, they're a little out of sync, but you don't really realize it because it's motion. It's a really big build-up scene. Computer lagged. Boom, boom. And basically, so he hits once, and then there's this really big boom. And how I always line up these shots is pretty simple. Is I cut the audio where I hear the boom, so I have to listen to this audio probably like 10 times before I can really closely know where it hits, where the beat drops. And then I go to the audio clip and I figure out exactly where he hits the bag first. So that frame was this one. And then I just line the clips up and it works out. This last scene I had in mind because I was like, this is the big hit one that I wanted. So again, I just lined the audio up, and this is his, I think I just had him do a few just of the same hits of just him going under, bam, 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 just swinging. And finally, this was his last shot, and we did this a few times where, boom. So just lined it up, and then he just walks off, and then I got the bag to just go, bam, just like that. So it goes, boom, just like that. So that was the ending scene, and I had that planned out for a while, so I basically just had to fill in the middle parts. And this one, this shot right here, I initially had at the front of the film, and I was like, maybe this can be at the end. And with the voiceover, it worked out and everything. But this is actually one of my also favorite shots of the film. And this was inspired by The Rock, if you've ever seen one of his workout videos where I think he's doing dips with chains, and the camera just starts slowly moving toward him, and it's just an awesome shot. But basically with this, since I had a 50mm and I was usually shooting at around like f2.8 because I really wanted to blur the background, I knew that when I was moving toward him, he wasn't always going to be in focus. And I kind of played with that, so I knew that he was kind of going to be like this mysterious figure coming out of nowhere, and then bam, he's in focus. And I actually made the mistake right here where I kept moving forward. So he's in focus, and I was like, oh, cool. And then I kept moving forward. So he's out of focus on this, and I kept going with it. And then I just backed up one more time, and I really like how he kind of tilts his head and he looks really angrily at the camera. He did a good job of that. So that was mainly my whole thought process. I hope I kind of explained that good in a way. I'm going to show you some of the color grading effects because that really made a big difference when I put these in. So this is the original shot. So this is the original. But basically this is the first part of it. And what I learned after this, or through filming this whole thing, is whenever you do an important shot, or you think it's an important shot, always leave the camera stationary for like a few seconds, so you have some leeway if maybe this was your ending shot, you know. So I'm glad right when he left, I didn't just put the camera down like I did right here. I waited a bit, and I really liked how the bag spun in the end, and it all worked out. But basically for the color grading, so this was just a normal shot, and it comes out like this. So I made it very high contrasted, brightened everything up. The lighting, it wasn't really technical. I mean, we were inside his garage, and I think I had one little light, that's actually my light right now, kind of posted off on like this freezer right there, so it kind of lit him up, but besides that, that was literally the only light, and there was nothing else really that advanced. So you can see that I bumped the exposure up a lot. If I reset this, that's what it looked like before and after. Contrast was extremely high. I really wanted it to be a nice contrasty scene. And I was thinking of more of like a bluer tone because I really wanted to make this feel raw and just very, very dramatic. And blue was more of that tone that I was going with. So with these especially, I think this is the creative. Yeah, the creative panel. The shadow tint and the blue tint, you can see they're both in the blue line, and that you can click these on and off. So it was more yellow, and I just made it more blue, the highlights and everything. And another thing I did is I did a vignette, which I think added a lot. It's just these little subtle changes that worked out, and I put the feather up pretty high, so it wasn't like an extreme vignette. But again, I just wanted to make it more dramatic because this is a boxing, he's angry, just a nice, cool boxing dramatic effect, so I wanted to play on that as much as I could. So that was the color grading part of it. It was a lot of fun. Big props to him, especially because, again, I mean, we had to redo some of those boxing scenes probably like 30 times. So just imagine, I mean, he was going full force with every single one, so it was very intense. None of it was fake. None of it was like fake weights or kind of fake sweat. It was all real. And you can see that here I color coded. So these purple right here, this is all voiceover stuff. And then the original audio is this middle chunk, that is the song. And then the bottom right here are the original audio from the actual clips. With him boxing, especially in his setup, the bag, when you hit it, it swings a lot. It's very loud. So that's the sound. It's very like rackety, just bum, 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 bum. And I didn't want that because I was going to distract from the music, so I toned the hits down a lot, actually. All of these are FX. That means that I changed the audio gain of it. And I changed it to -15 for like all of them because they were just extremely loud. So you can still kind of hear it just a little bit, just so you know that you're not just listening to a mute clip. But I didn't want to take away from the song at all. The yellow and blue right here, this middle section, this was all different sound effects. So I especially used it for this. So if I mute all of this, it was literally just him breathing. So I literally just got a sound of him breathing and put it in there. Luckily it matched when he was breathing that time, so it worked out. One thing I learned, and from just watching a lot of different videos, is when you think of a setup shot, these scenes are extremely quick. This is like literally 20 milliseconds. 20 milliseconds, this is maybe a full second, and then it goes. I mean, these shots are extremely quick, but you get the idea. You see the story. You don't need these to drag out for a second or two because then it's just long. It just wastes the story. And with this, I really wanted to build the momentum up of him boxing and then just keep that momentum of him just going rapid fire at it. And another thing that I didn't even plan that kind of worked out was for a lot of these boxing scenes, I think they match up very well because I tried to match up when he did the right and left hooks, so it transitioned into the same hook, so it didn't just switch. So here you can see he's setting up for a right hook. I don't know if, actually he did a left, and then he's going for a left hook. So his left arm's right there on his body, and the next clip, which is a totally different angle, a totally different shot, his left hand is right there. So it's basically the same position. So it almost looks like a multiple camera setup, which I didn't. I literally filmed all of these individual scenes, but they match up very well. So you can see he's going from here, boom. If I do another film like this, I definitely would film everything in slow motion just so I have that flexibility with it, because some of the slow motion clips came out actually really good. I liked it. But especially with this one, he's going on for a left hook right here, boom, and he connects. Like it's almost instantaneous, but it's again two different clips. And this one, this whole clip that's purple or highlighted is slow motion. And bam, and it hits. I really hoped you guys enjoyed this. This is my first time kind of breaking down and editing video, and I kind of just wanted to do it just to show you guys what this whole film was about. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you have not, please sign up for my free manual mode cheat sheet. It explains shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. You can do that right down below, and you'll sign up for my email, so I'll be sending you out tips and everything whenever I post videos or blog articles, so it's a lot of good stuff. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on that little notification bell, so then you always know when I post new videos. Isn't that amazing? I think it is. Have fun, keep photographing or filming. I guess we're now transitioning into videography now, which is exciting. But yeah, I'll catch you later. See ya.
You got it?
Yeah, I got him.
Cool.
Look.
Are you proud?
Yeah, Spies in Disguise Part 6, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
That's sick.
Can I get a better one?
I mean, if you want. No, you're wasting time.
No, I mean, if you get the closer,
I don't care. I don't care.
Can you get a picture?
Not now, but like later.
Chimp. Take a picture.
Like later.
I'm like, it's a perfect stance. I'm like feeling the look.